Hello, good evening, everyone. Welcome to Riverside Unified School District's first live family webinar.
Bienvenidos al
I
primer
to
vivo de
interact with you
Riverside.
tonight and share some tips.
Queremos compartir algunas sugerencias con ustedes para el
We
aprendizaje.
will begin this meeting at 6:30, and this meeting is being recorded. If you need Spanish interpretation, please click on the interpretation button at the bottom of your screen.
Para español, abajo en su pantalla, haga clic donde dice interpretación y escoja español.
Y puede hacer clic en el botón de
All right, we'll go ahead and get started. Crystal, can you advance the slide? Once again, everyone, welcome to our first live family webinar. Thank you for joining us tonight. I will begin by introducing myself. My name is Jennifer Deanda, and I am proud to work with our students and our school sites as the Director of Elementary Education. I will be the host for tonight. And now we will review some norms to help our meeting run smoothly. First, we want to honor your time and commit to starting and ending this meeting on time. At the bottom of your screen, you should see a mute button, the one with the microphone. Please be sure that you are muted during the meeting to help us ensure that the sound is highest quality for all. You see a couple of other buttons at the bottom of your screen. The chat feature will be used for technology-related questions to this Zoom meeting. For example, if you are having trouble with your sound or your video, use this button for support. Throughout the night, we will be giving you
información de la noche usted va a recibir información acerca de Google Classroom.
If you have questions about our
tiene
content
preguntas
or the
acerca
presentation, please use the Q&A button at the bottom of your screen. We will be responding to most of the Q&A questions throughout the meeting and some addressed at the end. Also, at the end of this meeting, we will have open question time for you to raise your hand. You will be called on to unmute yourself and ask your questions verbally to our staff. And finally, this is our first live meeting. We are excited and nervous and hope that the technology works well for us. We appreciate your support while we are learning. And now I would like to go ahead and introduce our esteemed panel of experts for tonight. Joining us from our Innovation and Learner Engagement Department is Steve Dunlap, the Director, Mr. Susan Harwood, the Manager of Instructional Technology, Dr. Steve Kong, the Coordinator for Digital Learning, and Crystal Hart, our Staff Development Specialist. And from Educational Services, we have Gabby Alonzo, our Coordinator for the Family Resource Center, Cindy Hartshorn, our Coordinator for Special Education, Nicole Matthews, a Program Specialist for Special Education, and Kelly Sugden, a Teacher on Assignment for Special Education. Panels, I want to thank you for being here tonight. We are excited to learn from you. Tonight, we will be providing tips to help you and your child with distance learning. We will review the tools such as Google Classroom, Cami, and Flipgrid. Some of the questions we will be answering are the ones on the screen. And you can access the slide presentation tonight through the URL that's in the chat box or via our family webinar webpage. And now I would like to turn it over to Mr. Harwood to get us started with Google Classroom.
Some distance learning basics. If you are using a home computer, please make sure you are using Google Chrome. If you have previously used Google Chrome, please make sure that you have a profile created specifically for your student's riversideunified.org account. If you need help creating that, we do have a quick video that'll be linked on this presentation when it becomes available. If your student is using a district Chromebook, they will be signed into their riversideunified.org account already, so accessing the following resources that we are talking about will be much easier. So how do I access Google Chrome? Students can access Google Chrome through Clever at bit.ly/RUSD Clever. But what is Clever? Clever is a website that the district uses to quickly access many of the educational tools. Clever is great because it makes easy login to many of the tools that we have, like Google Classroom. Most of your students know how to use Clever already because they use it on their Chromebooks in class, and now they can use it at home. Clever also allows the district to securely share information with specific websites and applications to ensure that the correct people have the correct access to the correct programs. It's easy for many of the students to access Clever because it's the homepage when they log into Google Chrome with their riversideunified.org account on their Chromebooks. If you're using the home computer, don't worry. Your student can sign into Google Chrome with their riversideunified.org account, and that will make accessing Clever easy as on a Chromebook. You can also access Clever using the bit.ly above. But what is a bit.ly? A bit.ly is a shortened website address to make it easier to remember how to get to somewhere on the internet. So type that bit.ly into your address bar, and it'll take you to, directly to Clever. Be careful though, bit.ly addresses are case sensitive, so make sure you use lowercase letters for everything in this address. When you get to the Clever login page, click the Login with riversideunified.org account button. If you're already signed into your riversideunified.org account, when you click on the Chromebook login page, you'll be ready to go. If you need help signing in, please feel free to contact our support hotline listed at the end of this presentation.
So the first question that came in was, how do I get a Google Classroom class code? Classroom codes are automatically generated by Google Classroom and are provided to each individual teacher. Most teachers in RUSD have already rostered their students in Google Classroom, so students should already be enrolled into the appropriate Google Classroom where they are engaging in distance learning. In the event that your student does not have a Google Classroom, please email their teacher to have them added to that classroom or to request the classroom code. If you're unsure how to contact your teacher or email the teacher of your student, please email support@riversideunified.org or call our support number 951-208-7185, and someone from our team can assist you and provide you with information on how to contact your child's teacher to request the Google Classroom code.
The next question that we will address is, how do I turn in assignments on Google Classroom? You will need your students to access Google Classroom using the Clever portal as previously discussed. Once your student is in the Google Classroom, they will need to open up the classroom. They will click on the Classwork tab and then open the assignment by clicking View Assignment. Your student will need to complete all of the work embedded and then click the Turn In button. Next, we'll address how to submit an assignment on Flipgrid. Flipgrid is a tool that some teachers are using for distance learning, which integrates with Google Classroom. If your teacher is using a Flipgrid assignment, you will access the assignment in Google Classroom via Clever. You will open up the assignment and click View Assignment and then complete all attached work. Flipgrid will be attached and brought into Google Classroom. Your students will record a short video response, and then when they are done, they will need to go to Google Classroom and click Mark as Done. There is also an English and Spanish Flipgrid tutorial linked into this presentation. Next, we will look at Cami. Cami is a tool that some teachers in RUSD are also using. Every student has access to Cami already linked to the riversideunified.org account. Cami is a tool that allows students to annotate and write on PDFs. So your students will not need to print assignments, but they can do their work digitally by using text features and drawing features. There is also a tutorial for the first time use linked into this presentation in English and Spanish. To complete a Cami assignment, your student will need to follow the same steps, opening Google Classroom, opening the assignment by clicking View Assignment, but this time the work will need to be opened with Cami. Your student will click Open with Cami, complete the work, and then as with previous assignments, they will need to click Turn In. Here's what it looks like in Cami for your student to click Turn In within Cami, and then they will also turn it in Google Classroom. But your teachers will be able to see the work, whether you've turned it in or not, in real time. And finally, how do I use Google Meet from Google Classroom? When you're in Google Classroom, which you access via Clever, you will need to open up the Google Classroom, and on the stream, you will see the link embedded for Google Meet. Your student will need to click the Meet link, but they will not be able to join the Google Meet until their teacher has started the Meet. Once the teacher enters the Google Meet, your students will be able to join and enter and participate. There is also a tutorial linked in below.
So how do I see what's going on in my student's classroom? Google Classroom has two different views, a Guardian view and the normal student view. If you'd like to see the Guardian view, please ask your student's teacher to add you to a Guardian summary if you want to get the weekly summary view. On the right-hand side, you can actually click the Google Classroom weekly summary to get more information on what that looks like. For the student view, just have your student share what they've been doing in their class by walking you through what they're doing in their Google Classroom.
If you need translation to get support your child, you can contact your child's principal, and they will help you to make an appointment with staff who can translate materials for you. In order to get in touch with your principal, you can check your school's website to get their email address.
We also want to point out our resources that are available for families to support distance learning on the at-home learning webpage, which can be accessed from the main district website. Once you access the distance learning website, on the top bar, you'll notice different subpages. Go ahead and click on Families, which will then give you a drop-down menu of different subpages that are available. From there, click on Distance Learning Help, and all resources to support distance learning and the tools that we've gone over today are housed on that subpage.
First of all, panel, I would like to thank you for the great tips that you have provided us for distance learning. We appreciate your expertise, and all of the resources and links that you have posted in the PowerPoint will be available on our website so that people can access those videos later. We'll also post information about how to contact you should they have more support. We will now move into reviewing questions that have been posted in the Q&A. We hope to be able to get to all of the questions tonight. We will also be moving to live questions in a little bit. So if you are unable to type your question in the Q&A, you will have the opportunity to raise your hand and ask a question verbally once the Q&A is complete. Gabby, do we have a question in our Q&A?
Yes, we do. We have a question from Paula, and she's asking how her student can access Reading 180 software.
Thank you, Paula, for that question. We'll turn it over to our special ed team to respond about Read 180 software.
Read 180 is typically accessed in a school setting. So in order to access it at home, we have a special link, and we must access it through a bit.ly. So in our Q&A, we will type in the bit.ly, but a bit.ly is a link that will take you specifically to the website in which your student can log in with their regular credentials. And that bit.ly is bit.ly/r with a lowercase r 180 and then all lowercase RUSD.
Thank you, Kelly. Gabby, do we have another question in the Q&A?
We have another question that Nicole Matthews will answer during her presentation. And we have another question from Stephanie that just came in. And she's asking, will the teachers ever do lectures or teaching, or will they just assign work? I'm concerned that there is no actual instruction now.
Thank you. Gabby, can you tell me the name again of the person that submitted that question?
Stephanie Winters.
Stephanie, thank you for that question. You know, it varies classroom to classroom as far as instruction being posted for students to participate in. Some teachers are posting recorded videos, and some teachers may not have the ability to do that based upon their personal situations at home. We want to honor that and respect that our teachers are dealing with things that we all are at this time working from home. And so I understand your concern about instruction, and the work that's being assigned you do feel will help to maintain the skills. And as we move into next year and plan for next year, we will be adjusting our curriculum so that we can make sure that we teach any skills that were not taught at the end of this year for school closure. So you'll see those adjustments as we move into next year. And also for specific questions about your teacher and the instruction that's being posted there, you can always reach out to your principal for support. Gabby, do we have any other questions in the Q&A?
There are no additional questions at the moment. No more questions.
Okay, thank you. I want to give a little bit of wait time, as that's what teachers do, just to make sure that there are no other questions. So at this time, we'll go ahead and take live questions, or you can post your question in the Q&A if you're more comfortable with that. If you would like to ask a live question, you may raise your hand.
Jen, we do have a question that just came in from Ricky Hill. And her question is there a plan to continue instruction-led one-on-one speech therapy classes?
Thank you for that question. Can we have someone from our special education team respond?
Sure. So in regard to speech therapy, for all of the students in the district, we are having the speech therapists contact the students that they will be working with and your families, so you as the parent, to be talking together about what extent possible we're able to be implementing the IEP. So there may be a combination of consultation, there could be some synchronous or asynchronous, so live or not live, recorded for you to access later, interactions with your child's speech therapist. So it's really something that's individual to each student and that would be discussed together with the service provider.
Thank you, Cindy. Gabby, do we have any other questions in the Q&A?
None.
Is there a question about sixth grade promotion posted somewhere?
Yes, there was a question about sixth grade promotion that was going to be answered.
Can you answer that, or can you read that question aloud for me?
I don't see the question. Where is it?
Would the person who entered that question like to raise their hand and we can unmute you to ask it, or you can put it again in the Q&A?
Jen, this is Steve Dunlap. I can see the question. It says, the question just says information on sixth grade promotion.
Okay, thank you. Information on sixth grade promotion, that would be dependent upon your school site. So you can contact your school principal or your sixth grade teachers to get more details for their school. We have made a commitment that all sixth graders will have a recognition to celebrate the end of the year, and we want to celebrate with them that achievement of completing elementary school. And so schools are doing that in different ways, but making sure that all sixth graders feel special in the ways that meet the needs of their school and their community. So again, you can reach out to your school principal or your teachers to get more information for your specific school site. we have any other questions in the Q&A, or is anyone raising their hand?
There's another question that came in, and it asks, Angelica Alba is asking, my student was ill the day the gate testing took place, and the makeup test was supposed to take place the first week of April, we were on lockdown. Will gate testing take place?
Yes, we are working to reschedule gate testing, either virtually or when we can come back together again. We'll have more information about that as we know more about our situation and about the capabilities. But as far as taking the gate test virtually, it depends upon your age and the software that is being used for that particular grade level. So we'll get more information out to you soon.
And I believe we have some questions, live questions that Paula would like to ask. So Paula, if you would like to unmute your microphone and ask.
Okay, yes. On the Reading 180, when I get in, do I need a username and a password?
Yes, your students should have their regular username and password that they use to log in at their classroom.
Okay, so it will be the same password when he gets into the computer?
I believe so, yes.
Okay, I just want to make sure. Okay.
There was also a question from Amy. Amy, would you like to ask your question?
Hi, I'd like to know if the kids will be graded for their work, and if so, does grading still stay the same?
Hi, as you know, or probably have heard that the grades from trimester 2 or quarter 3 will be rolling over for students, so that there is no harm done for students who may not be able to participate in distance learning. For students who are able to participate in distance learning, their grade can only go up. And that grade improvement and the grading of the work, that's held by individual teachers. The teachers will be providing feedback on assignments. And depending on the grade level of the child, it's hard to speak to. But if it's something where the teacher can measure the child's proficiency, then that would be what would be used to perhaps raise their grade. It wouldn't be as simple as just doing work, and it's not just about participation, but it is about completing the work and completing it in a way that shows proficiency. So that varies from teacher to teacher, and your teacher and your site principal can help with that information a little bit more specific to your child's grade level.
Thank you.
Are there any other questions, Gabby?
There are no other questions on the Q&A.
And any more hands raised? So at this time, let's go ahead and flip over to the next slide, as we're seeing no more questions. On behalf of, oh, I'm sorry, we're not there yet. We do have another slide here with some additional resources for you. If you have questions about meal service or more information about our school closures, or you need to register or withdraw, you can go to our district website. If you would like more parent information or student learning resources, you can go to our e-learning website, which Dr. Kong showed earlier today. And as you're working, if you run into some technology support, your Chromebook doesn't turn on or your charger stops working, or some other technological problem, you can call the phone number at the screen or use the email address that's on the screen. Gabby, one last check. If there are no other questions, then I'll go on and close it up for today. Are there any other questions?
Jennifer, can I just add in one more piece? If anybody does have specific questions related to their child's IEP or services, they can also contact their child's case carrier or the service provider or their child's program specialist directly if they wanted some one-to-one conversation.
Thank you, Cindy.
Jen, there is a question from Soila, and she unfortunately missed the first part of the presentation and would like to know how to access the information.
We are recording this presentation and it will be posted on our e-learning website, the site that Dr. Kong showed earlier today. Also, somebody can put we can put the link for you in the chat so that you have the link to the e-learning website. You'll go to the page that says Family Webinars. On this picture on the screen, it says Parent Webinars, but it currently says Family Webinars. And that's where you'll be able to find the slides from tonight and the recording from tonight, both in English and in Spanish. You can also let your friends and colleagues know that that will be available as well, and invite them to join us for our next time. And if we can go to the last slide on the screen. I want to thank you for being here tonight. We had our entire panel who was here tonight, and we have a whole behind the scenes staff, and I cannot thank them enough for helping us to put this together and provide information for families. So I want to thank our panel and staff for providing all the information tonight. Parents and families, we also want to thank you for being here. We will be continuing this webinar series on Thursday evenings for the next few weeks. So next week, you may join us at 6:30. Our topic will be managing stress. And the areas of focus will include behavioral reactions to stress and strategies to help parents and children alleviate stress during these unpredictable times. We hope that you will join us, and please share this opportunity with your friends so that they can join us too. Thank you for being here this evening, and good night to everyone.